Let's go on to the tales from the trading desk. You've sat on a trading floor for a long time. I'm sure you probably have some good stories. Would you mind sharing one with us?
Well, the story that I'm going to talk about, I guess, is one that actually has to do with yield curve trading at the Board of Trade. When I first walked onto the Board of Trade floor, this is before turnstiles. It's before key cards. There was just a security guard at a desk, and you walk onto the trading floor. And I had worked as a runner, and then I worked as a clerk, and I was working as a clerk for Manufacturers Hanover. And somebody says to me, that somebody and I was at a desk which was maybe 20 feet away from the bond pit. And at that time, the bond pit was the big daddy pit of the world. It was the sizes at that time that traded weren't anything near what they trade now, but the money that flowed through at that time was pretty extraordinary, even so. And so I'm at a desk, and I'm working for Manufacturers Hanover, a New York bank, which is long defunct at this point. And somebody says, well, one of these bond locals blew up. He, lost a ton of money, and he was going to be out of the business. And I was working for a woman, and she says, well, why doesn't the guy just borrow 50 grand from Ray? And I said to myself, what is this? Who in the world just lend somebody or ask somebody for 50 grand to borrow because they lost it so that I can keep trading? And I'm thinking, I've never even heard of anything like that before. So I'm thinking, who is this guy Ray? I've got to see him. Well, do you know who it is?
No, I don't.
Okay. Okay. So this is what's going through my mind because, remember, I had walked onto the floor as a runner. I barely knew what a bond was at this time. So it turns out that this guy, Ray, was a fabulous yield curve trader and one of really the first at that time that traded all the Board of Trade contracts, the 5-year, the 10-year, the 30-year, traded them one against the other and knew all, of course, the dollar value of basis point math, et cetera. So I say, well, I'd really like to see this guy. And somebody says, well, that's Ray there. And I see this guy walking past me, in the aisle of the floor, and he's got, looks like he hasn't had a shower in about, a month. He's got long, stringy hair. He's kind of walking along in this black coat with pink sleeves, and that doesn't look like it's been cleaned in a month. And this is the guy. He was, he's worth, at that time, a tremendous amount of money. And to this day, he's what I heard about this guy, and I won't use his last name, is that, this is at a time when technology wasn't like it is now. But in the old days, he actually had a projector with live prices that projected onto the ceiling of his bedroom so that when he was sleeping, if he woke up, he could see where the prices were.
That's awesome.
And you've got to imagine how much that cost because this was a time when to put in a direct line to New York, for example, used to cost us $600 or $700 a month. The costs were a lot higher. Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
I just want to know if he's married because I don't know about you guys, but my wife would not be down with the quotes
Mrs.
on the
Macrotourist
ceiling.
would not be impressed.
No, she would not be impressed about that.
Well, I'm almost hesitant to tell this story, and this is a rumor only. Take this one with a grain of salt. But I will tell it.
You have to now.
Somebody told me that this guy, and I believe it was this guy, it may not have been, was married, but told his wife that he was a clerk on the Board of Trade floor. So a clerk might make at that time $25,000 a year, where this guy was probably making 25 grand in about, on a given trade. And so that's what he told his wife, and when she found out what his real business was, they instantly got a divorce and she got half.
She's no dummy.
Yeah, I guess so. Now, I don't know
Oh,
if that's
that's
true,
funny.
but that's what I heard.
You know what? You never let the truth get in the way of a good story, Alex. That's what I
right.
say. Okay, so that's great. Thanks for sharing that with us. For people that want to find out more about you, first of all, I just want to say I love your blog. I love
thank you.
reading about it. It is terrific stuff. It's my go-to place when I want to learn about short-term interest rates. And that's what you guys call yourself, STIR traders, right? Short-term interest rates traders. And I would highly recommend everyone. So why don't you tell people where they can find you on both your blog and on Twitter?
Well, I don't really use Twitter that much.
Oh, that's right. You're not a Twitter guy. That's right. Sorry.
That's right. I specifically use this blog, and I specifically try to write something short that somebody can read within a couple of minutes and put it out first thing in the morning so that they don't have to wade through a lot. So I assume a certain amount of knowledge, and that's at chartpoint.com. You can also find me. My email address is amanzara@rjobrien.com. So that is another way people could contact me if they wanted to.
Terrific. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you on. We really appreciate it, and that's a terrific story.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex.
Sure.